They're gonna, they're 30th in the NBA in three-point shooting. If they hit threes all night, we live with it. It's the compete level that's awful right now. It's a playoff team. We're on the road trying to scrap out a win, and we're not boxing out. We're turning over the ball. So unless we pick up the way we're competing, we won't even give ourselves a chance.
Well, in the second quarter, the Lakers gave themselves a chance. The bench came up big. Zubac's 4 out of 4 for his 8 points. And the Lakers not only got back in the game, they took the lead, and they're up by 4 after 24 minutes, 67-63, playing out there at the Peak in OKC. American Express halftime reporter Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Charles Barkley. So that was a turnaround by Luke Walton's bunch there in the second quarter.
He went to the bench.
Yep.
Like sometimes when your starters aren't playing well, a lot of coaches try to ride it out. He said, hey, you guys ain't going to play. I'm going to go to my bench. But I think the main thing it shows, Ernie, is why I don't think OKC is a legit contender. They got a good team. They're going to win a lot of games. But when you're playing against a bad team, you're up 17 at home, you got to put your foot on their neck. You got to say, hey, listen, first of all, the Lakers don't think they can win this game. When they're down 17, you take it to 25, 30, the game's over. But now, they're in for a dogfight now. But this says more about Oklahoma City. That's why when I talk about the legitimate teams in the West, OKC is not one of them. They like the pretty girl who's dumb.
30 bench points.
A lot
for the Lakers in the first half. Our American Express teammates come from the Lakers starting lineup. Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, both in double figures. Kuzma's got 13. Lonzo's got 10. Hit that big 3 late as the Lakers have the 67-63 lead. So we've seen good Lakers, bad Lakers, and here to pick it apart is Kenny the Jet.
Well, I think Chuck hit it on the head, and so did Luke. Because the NBA, bad teams, if you lose every quarter by 4 points, doesn't sound like a lot. You lose a game by 16 points, you're getting blown out. So what happens is your game preparation, you're getting ready to play, sometimes cost you wins, and sometimes you have enough talent to get back in the game. So let's say if I'm going to the board, and I'm not prepared. So, all right, I'm not there yet. But now I can't get to the board because I am an NBA player. I'm at the board. But my lack of preparation cost us, 15 seconds. So now we're down 17. So, and this is lack of preparation, mental preparation for the game, because the game isn't now Michael Beasley's a really good player, really great scorer, he's been in the league, but the mental preparation around the atmosphere creates moments like this where you're not prepared. So then when the game starts, and all of a sudden you start playing and you're going back and you're going to get your stuff, and now you're trying to get mentally prepared. No way you can come in and out. So now again, the lack of preparation doesn't allow good play to happen. All of a sudden you're making and missing the pass and play that should happen, and all of a sudden you start struggling early on. And then the fact that you're not mentally locked in, you miss shots or you do things uncharacteristic of what you do. Freeze it here. Now you have Stevenson coming off. You're still not mentally ready to locked in because the play isn't really going to Hart, who actually comes in and gets the layup. That play is going to someone else, and freeze it again. See, I was really passing it to 15, but because I'm an NBA team, I got my shoes on, so all of a sudden some good things happen and you're back in it. So imagine if you come to the arena prepared, locked in, and loaded like most teams do, and great teams do. They don't do that. That's what the Los Angeles Lakers are around like now, is a funk of lack of preparation, and Luke Walton hit it right after the first quarter.
Big-time Shackton move by Michael Beasley.
Yeah. Big time. That's the first thing we said in the back. Oh, that's going to be on Shackton.
No doubt.
So if I ask you guys, I'm going to be talking about Paul George, sorry to...
No, let's move on.
If I ask you whose team is it on OKC, you're going to say Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Okay, so for all you guys that are number 2 and number 3, you should check out Paul George. Never hear him complain about shots. He just goes and plays. Right here, if you just hustle and play hard, you create opportunities for yourself. We all can play. We can't win without the 1-2 punch. So if you're the 1 or the 2, all you got to do is play right here. Russell Westbrook, respect him. He's saying, go ahead, Paul. I done scored a few. You go ahead and score a few right here. Give me the ball, Russ, and let me go to work. So if you're the 1 or the 2, it don't matter what number you are. Stop complaining and just go to work.
To the fact that he was the 2 and stayed there.
Yeah.
I mean,
won a couple other places.
It's what's going to make this team better.
No
What's
matter
going
who
to put
everybody
a W
got to
up.
play and everybody got to go
That's
to
what
work.
we've been talking about pretty much all year. Guys, I never understand. Like,
Why it has to be somebody's team.
well, first of all, it is somebody's team, but being number 2 ain't bad. Like, it ain't like you're number 2 to, I don't want to call any players out. It ain't like you
Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen was a hell of a player. Ain't no shame in being number 2 to Michael Jordan. Ken McHale's the best player I ever played against.
He's number 2 to Larry Bird.
Thank you. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, it just amazes me at times how these guys, like, they worry about their brand, who's going to get the max. I'm like, yo, man, we out here to win. And it's frustrating watching some of this crap I have to deal with today, Ernie.
67-63 is the halftime score. The Lakers on top after trailing by 17.
This girl still ain't pretty and still done. Pretty funny.
Paul, I like you, Paul Tabake. Did I get that right? Tabake?
Okay.
Welcome to the American Express Halftime Report. American Express, the official card of the NBA.
Okay, Kawhi Leonard not playing. For rest. Valanciunas out with a bad hand.
Nice sweat.
Continuing.
This was a very good game, too.
Okay.
Devin Booker in the lineup for the Suns, which gives them a chance.
He can shoot that thing.
Yeah, he can shoot it.
Game tied at 107. Now it's going to be untied as Serge Ibaka scores. And with the game tied, here's what you do. Give the ball to Pascal Siakam.
Maybe the most improved player in the NBA, Ernie.
Yes, sir.
What a nice move. That was a tough shot, too.
That wins the game, 111.
That was a tough shot.
111-109 the final. 34 wins, by the way, for
You
Toronto.
impressed, Chuck?
Wait, who dog can't do that? Man, go on you who do that all the time.
Oh, my gosh.
Come on,
they're
man.
wearing
Hey,
sneakers.
daddy's girls, man, go on you can do that.
Got on dog sneakers.
You've been watching the American Express Halftime Report. American Express, the official card of the NBA.
Hey, don't you owe me some money?
I do owe you $1,000.
Joel Embiid has been bothered by a bad back. Didn't know if he's going to play or not, but it looks like he will play tonight for the Sixers as they take on Victor Oladipo and the Indiana Pacers, who are number 3 in the East. 2 of the top 4 teams in the East squaring off here on TNT. We're going to the Fieldhouse next. Well, here we go. Studio J in Atlanta. Got a pretty good doubleheader here.
I'm looking forward to both games tonight.
Sixers and the Pacers with Kevin Harlan. Reggie Miller going back to Indiana to call that game tonight with RGO, Rosgold, and Woody. And then we got the Lakers and the Thunder. And here inside Studio J, Ernie Johnson.
Well, that's not a good one.
Shaquille O'Neal.
That's a beatdown.
Kenny Smith.
I miss you, Charles.
Just a beatdown.
Charles.
I haven't laughed
Barkley.
since
Hey,
last
let's
Thursday.
enjoy this first game. That second game is going to be a ass kicking.
You never know.
Yeah, you do know.
No,
Have you seen the Lakers play?
You never.
They lost to the Cavaliers the other night.
Yeah, you never.
And I must have been really bored to watch that game. No, we were texting each other. We were texting each other during the game.
Are you watching this?
Are you watching the Lakers against the Cavaliers? I mean, that's how bad our lives are right now.
That is a sad commentary on your life.
It was.
I thought you're better than
I
that.
texted him. I was like, "Are you watching this game?" He's
Y'all was
like,
texting each
he's
other?
like,
Yeah, we were.
Because I flew back with you. We had a different.
Oh, must be nice to have a private jet.
Yeah, you know.
Hey, that wasn't me. I'm on Delta, baby.
No, hey, must be nice to have a big old private jet.
Yeah, it was nice.
So anyway, Philadelphia, Indiana. They've played twice already this year. Home team has not won a game yet, and Philadelphia embarking on a real interesting chunk of schedule right now. Next 12 games, all against teams with winning records. So here's what Philadelphia's got.
Yeah, that's it.
They got at Indiana tonight, then home with OKC, home with the Rockets, home with the Spurs, and then on the road to Denver, the Lakers, Golden State, Sacramento, and then back home for Toronto, Denver, the Lakers, and Boston.
Well, let me say this about the Sixers. They're not embarking on a trip. They're embarking on their season. Ernie, Kenny talks about it all the time. At some point, you have to figure out what you are. The Sixers are still fumbling around. Same thing with the Celtics. at some point during the season, we're coming up on the All-Star break. The Sixers got to figure out a pecking order. And this is going to be a make-or-break trip for them because when they come back,
a stretch of games, a stretch of 12 games.
But when you play against the elite teams, you can't be going into February and March trying to say, well, whose team is it? What type? Are we a defensive team? We're an offensive team?
Whose team is it, Kenny?
Well, this is what Shaq and I were just talking about.
Whose team is it?
We hate that phrase, whose team is it? You know, it's because if I average 18 rebounds, is it my team? If I average 12 assists, is it my team? If I average 30 points, is my team? Everyone has a job to do that they are really good at. This is what should happen. Ben Simmons creates the pace every time.
Yep.
He's the guy who's going to get the ball to create the pace of what it is. Offensively, we're going through Joel Embiid.
Yep.
And defensively, Jimmy Butler will secure and anchor everything out front. That's how we play.
Yeah, but
the problem.
That's how we play.
Go ahead, Shaq.
The problem with these teams, and I actually had this problem. Sometimes we worry about nonsense rather than having communications. Once Phil sat me and Kobe down and said, okay, Shaq, we're coming to you early, and if you're not hitting the free throws, Kobe's going to take over the game. Once I accepted that, see, we're not worried about the pecking order. Kobe's the man, I'm the man, we did it together. And like I was telling Kenny next door, forget the pecking order. The others also have to play well, but the guys have to keep the others involved. So I think the guys are worried about whose team is it and do this, that. Kenny, you make a great point. Ben, run. Get it to Embiid. Jimmy Butler, you take the last shot. And others, y'all got to step up.
And I always, as an other.
It's a simple game. That's how you win a simple game.
I only respected the guy when he didn't say he was the guy.
Exactly.
When he told me he was the guy, I'm like, you ain't the guy. Yeah. You ain't the guy. If you got to tell me you the guy, you ain't the guy. See, and I would never... I would never relinquish my responsibility to him then. But if you show me through your work ethic and do what you do on the court, yeah, we can talk about that.
First of all, it's a great point. Both of y'all got great points. But two things. Number one, I ain't never going to call you
the guy.
And no, because you don't have to tell me. And I don't have to call you and say, hey, Charles, you're doing your job.
Right.
No, that's your damn job to be the leader. You don't have to tell me you're the leader. I don't have to call no other player and says, hey, I really appreciate what you taught me when I played with you. No, I followed you. But to get back to the original point, if Joel Embiid is still talking about shots, if Jimmy Butler is talking to the coach about, well, I'm not happy with my role, that's the problem with the Sixers. Brett Brown's got to sit them down and says, yo, Ben, I agree with Kenneth. When we going fast, you're the guy. You get everybody involved. Joel Embiid, we're in the half court. We're going to go through you. Jimmy, you're a really good player, but we brought you here to help us win, not complain about how many touches you get and things like that.
Well, we got time. Let's check out Indiana because this is a team that's been flying underneath that radar that's always talking about Toronto and Milwaukee and Boston and Philly, and they got the third best record in the Eastern Conference at 29-14. And Victor Oladipo's numbers are not as good as they were, but they're good enough. Miles Turner has seemed to improve. Domantas Sabonis might be the sixth man of the year.
They're really good, Ernie, to collectively.
Yeah.
And the issue is, at one point, if you watch a game, as great as Victor Oladipo is, and he's a heck of a talent, but when he plays against the elite team, they don't have the best player on the floor. That's what scares everyone else to say, well, we're going with Indiana. Because when you play against Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis is the best player on the floor. When you play against Toronto Raptors, Kawhi is the best. When you play in the Western Conference, we can go down the line as well. So all of a sudden, your best player sometimes isn't the best player on the court. So collectively, they do it. And can you believe in a collection? Well, and that's when it comes down to a play or two in a game.
Other than the coach in Brooklyn, Nate McMillan has done a fantastic job.
Kenny Atkinson.
Kenny Atkinson, he's done because the Nets they've been fantastic all year. Sean Marks. Oh, no, I'm talking about in the East.
Oh, in the East, okay.
Mike Malone, first of all, I got to call out my Denver Nuggets, too, tonight.
Okay.
But Mike Malone has done a fantastic job.
Tired of talking about your Nuggets every week.
Ernie, I was so pissed the other night at the Nuggets.
But they're 7 out of the last 10 games.
No. When a guy, Kenny, you know, Shaq, you know this. There's big.
The Nuggets playing tonight?
No, but they got big games. There's big games. Am I right?
Right.
Oh, they got smacked.
And the Warriors came to their house, slapped them, beat their kids up, took their lunch money, and left. You cannot do that.
Oh yeah, I see how it man up. Okay.
That's my man Serge. He's the Sixers masseuse.
Anytime he's eating grapes and getting a massage on a court,
I would hope he
he's
is.
playing. We know he's playing.